Here's what's happening in the city of Rockville. We have the full recap of the city's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day ceremony. We'll tell you about a new way you can engage with your city to share your vision for Rockville's future. And we'll give you an update on the construction happening in Town Center. This is all the latest news in the city. This is Rock11 Now. Hello and welcome to this month's edition of Rock11 Now. I'm your host, Jennifer Ligsay. We'd like to begin our February show with a look back at the city's 42nd annual Dr. Martin Luther King Day ceremony. The program was presented by the Mayor and Council and Rockville's Human Rights Commission. Here's Katie Giardi with a recap of the event.
I'm Rock11 Now's Katie Giardi. Each year, Rockville comes together to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day with a ceremony of performances and awards. This year's ceremony was a true reflection of how Dr. King's legacy lives on.
When we watch productions like that and when we celebrate the actions of our youth, it just takes us to the next level, and this is our future, so it's wonderful to see.
We've been doing it for 42 years. That's pretty phenomenal. I think we're probably one of the longest running Martin Luther King Day celebrations in the country.
When we started in 1973, he was a much different figure. I mean, he had not been lionized and deified, and there was not a national holiday, and there was not a monument on the mall. He was a much more controversial figure then, and it was brave of Rockville to do that. And I'm very proud of my city for starting that tradition and maintaining it today.
I'm the first African-American woman to be elected, and it says a lot about Rockville. It says that we still embrace diversity, and I am so proud that people who came before me worked hard so this door would be open for me today. So for us to have come so far and for doors and opportunities to be open to us is very important to me, and I want to make sure that we continue to foster that.
If we stop now, all of the 50 years of labor would be in vain, because we only have won battles, but the war still goes on. That's why we got to keep moving. We got to keep fighting. We got to keep educating. We got to keep inspiring.
This is a very diverse, multicultural city, and we can't take that for granted. We can't take relationships for granted. So reminding us of the work of Dr. Martin Luther King and the other people who worked with him in that generation are important for us to kind of recommit ourselves to continuing to advance human rights in this city.
This month, we would like to feature Rockville's Cultural Arts Commission for our regular boards and commissions profiles. Whether you're a painter, performer, or someone who enjoys being in the audience of a show, this commission makes sure Rockville continues to thrive in the arts in more ways than one. Established in November of 1975, Rockville's Cultural Arts Commission works to advise the mayor and council on how to develop Rockville as a cultural center.
The city of Rockville needs the arts. They're not an idle toy to have, but rather it's good for us to have art in the city.
Well, I think that, we're seeing an increase in the involvement in the arts in Rockville in general. I think there's more pieces of art going up, and I think we can really look forward to some major pieces of art being added at different gateways into Rockville that will really add to the city.
Oh, we have so many artistic programs going on right now. Visual arts, dance, music, there's all kinds of things. We have certain subcommittees on the commission that do all sorts of public programs, and I think that it's going to really be a great year ahead of us.
To keep Rockville thriving in the arts, the commission draws upon the talents and diverse interests of its 11 members.
We have actors, painters, photographers, an art teacher, an art collector, and as someone says, just an enthusiastic audience member that likes to attend all the city-sponsored programs.
The commission is also involved in the city's Art in Public Places program. There are 52 permanent works of art around the city available for public viewing at any time of the year.
I'm so proud to be able to get involved in the selection of the artwork, like City Hall, Senior Center, and Police Station. And every time I saw it, I feel, oh, I'm part of that in the process.
Residents and visitors of Rockville have many opportunities to get into the cultural arts in the city. Go online to rockvillemd.gov/arts for the latest happenings.
Let's try to think about how the citizen, the typical citizen, contacts the city, what contact do they make with the city? Very few make direct contact with the police, let's say, but many people have involvement in the arts, whether they're a spectator, whether they go around the street and they see art in public places.
Visual, literary, and performing arts, it's daily in our lives. You hear music, it just brings a smile to you.
It's important to all of us to have a sense of beauty and joy in the world.
I think the arts, whether the people realize it or not, they're really influenced by the arts in Rockville.
For more on Rockville's boards and commissions and how to get involved, visit rockvillemd.gov/boards-commissions. If you have ideas or suggestions for the future of Rockville, then join in on the conversation with Engage Rockville. Here's more on the new online communication tool now launched and ready for your input.
Engage Rockville is a new online civic engagement tool that we're asking participants to come to the site, sign in, and start contributing new ideas. Basically an online brainstorming tool that will help people add ideas from the comfort of their own home, on the go from a mobile device, and help guide the future master plan update process that will really shape the future meetings and future topics to be discussed in the update.
By joining Engage Rockville, a service provided by the site MindMixer, you can participate in an online conversation with city staff on a wide range of topics related to Rockville today and in the future.
The Planning Department is looking for new ways to gain public input on a variety of topics that's in addition to traditional in-person meetings or official public comment periods. So our first topic is asking, where does Rockville go from here? And it's basically the survey that was presented at the 2012 Rockville Summit. And you can expand that and start submitting your inputs to the survey. Scroll down and see some of the other topics we have here. Share your big idea, which is not only a way to share ideas. With this blue button here, you can type the topic of your idea and explain about it. You can also submit points on the map to show exactly where your big idea is located in the city. And our last topic is a photo share to show us what you think is your favorite place in Rockville today, sort of a graphical topic.
Users can also view Engage Rockville in many different languages. Just select a language on the Google Translate bar at the bottom of every page.
You know, we went through a lot of initial testing, so the site actually runs very well. We tested a lot of topics, a lot of processes about how to provide comments and invitations and such. We have noticed that Internet Explorer 8, specifically as a web browser, is not working well with MindMixer. And so MindMixer has been working with us to encourage people to either upgrade their web browsers or use alternate web browsers such as Chrome, Firefox, or Safari.
New topics will be added every month or so to help keep the conversation going. The service launched in January and, according to Clark, has seen a positive response.
The last time I saw, we had 70 people signed up and participating in the process in our first week. And so we'll be continuing to outreach to neighborhood groups and other print and electronic media through February to tell more people about it. So we hope they'll sign up and start giving comments.
Get into the mix today. Sign up for a free account, and users must sign in to add ideas, ratings, and comments to open topics, but they can be viewed at any time without signing in. When a topic expires or closes, their ideas and comments will continue to be visible, but new submissions will no longer be accepted. Not all ideas will receive comments or status updates from the city, but staff moderators will be reading every submission and incorporating them into the upcoming master plan update discussion. Join the conversation by going to rockvillemd.gov/engage. Data from a recent survey has identified certain intersections in the city where vehicle crashes involving bicycles and pedestrians occur most often. We have an update on how the city is responding to these findings and working proactively on safety measures throughout Rockville.
The City of Rockville wants you to be safe on your commute in light of a recent survey identifying Rockville intersections with a high number of vehicle crashes involving pedestrians and bicycles.
We studied all of our data back since 2004, talking about car crashes involving cars and bicycles and pedestrians. So we have 8 intersections that have had more than 6 crashes in the last 10 years. 6 of those are along Rockville Pike. 2 of them are above the metro station, 1 at Park Road, and then a few down at Edmonston. Edmonston's actually the location with the most crashes, with 18 in the last 10 years, which is a lot. The other 2 are actually Veers Mill and Atlantic, and then the intersection we're at right now is Maryland and East Middle. That has about 10 crashes in the last year, all pedestrians trying to cross the street.
Over the past 10 years, there have been 319 of these types of crashes in Rockville, a number that the city is proactively working on to lower.
It's a twofold effort. One of them is looking at these intersections and making sure that if there's additional signage that needs to go up, if there's more things we can do with the physical layout of the intersection. The other major thing is education. So we work with the police department to target those specific intersections for unsafe driving behavior, unsafe bicycle pedestrian behavior. The other one is doing things like going out to neighborhoods and doing interviews and things in Rockville reports to make sure people know what they should be doing to be safe out there.
Well, we're aware of the issue. What we're targeting now is the area around the metro stations. Those are historically some of the biggest, the bigger numbers for pedestrian or bicyclist collisions is people coming to and from the metro stations. So we're doing increased enforcement on vehicles and pedestrians and bicycles in those areas.
Decreasing the number of crashes in the city is a collective effort by both the city and its residents, and here are a few tips on how to make your next commute a safe one.
That there's many things that everybody can be doing to keep each other safe on the road. Everyone wants to get to work and get to their location and get home to their families safely. So, for instance, one of the biggest contributing factors to these crashes was drivers failing to give their full time and attention and failing to yield the right of way to bikes and pedestrians. So one thing I want people to make sure is that they're put away their phones. It's illegal for a reason. To be paying attention to everybody else who's using the road. Make sure to make eye contact with everybody. So when you're a pedestrian standing at the corner, make sure that you see that that driver sees you, and make sure as you're driving that you make sure that you're looking for pedestrians. As for bikes, want to make sure that if you choose to bike on the sidewalk, you look out as you approach driveways. That's a major point of conflict between cars and bicyclists, especially on Rockville Pike. If you choose to bike on the sidewalk, make sure you slow down, look for cars coming in and out, and as a car, be aware that there are plenty of cyclists on the pike.
Like I said, common sense is the biggest thing. If you're a pedestrian and it's dark out, have a light, wear light clothing, reflective clothing. If you're wearing dark, it's hard for a vehicle to see you. So just be as visible as possible.
You can read more about the city's effort to decrease these crashes in the February edition of Rockville Reports, or view more tips about pedestrian safety on the city's website.
Upgrades to Rockville's water treatment plant began back in December of 2013 and has been ongoing since then. The project will ensure continued high-quality water service to residents and businesses of Rockville, and we recently got an update from city staff. Here's more.
Upgrades to the City of Rockville's water treatment plant have begun to ensure that the city both meets EPA requirements and continues to provide a high-quality water service.
Basically, the upgrades can be described in terms of 3 smaller projects within the larger project. The first one is a ferric chloride feed system, which is the use of a different coagulant for the water treatment process. And as part of that upgrade, we need to add more chemical storage. And then once we change this coagulant process, we are going to end up with more solids. So a second project within this bigger project is to install a 57-foot diameter gravity thickener that will be able to process the additional solids. And then there will be an air scour project where we will improve the efficiency of the filtration process.
I would like the residents to know that the City of Rockville takes our job very seriously where it concerns water quality. We strive to have water that meets and beats the regulations that are put on us by MDE and EPA.
The upgrades are required to comply with an EPA rule that addresses byproducts created when disinfectants react with naturally occurring organic compounds in water.
Well, basically, these upgrades are being driven by the U.S. EPA requirements to minimize disinfection byproducts in the water. So basically, organics that are in the water itself will react with chlorine that we do need to add to the water, And then in the distribution system, these disinfection byproducts are formed. So we need to minimize them. So that's why we're going to use a different kind of coagulant that will help take out the organics in the water so that there aren't as many organics in there for the chlorine to react with to create these disinfection byproducts. So we are currently under a consent agreement with the EPA and the Maryland Department of the Environment to get this project done, and the date is by October 2015. So assuming that everything goes as planned with the construction being done by early June or in the early summer of 2015, we should be in great shape.
When the goals change, meaning the water quality regulations get more strict, we have to adjust. And not always can we make those adjustments just through operations. We sometimes have to build new infrastructure, bring in new technology, install new equipment in order to target those constituents that we're trying to remove. And so this project does just that.
Once the updates are complete in 2015, residents should not notice a difference in the taste of their drinking water. For more information on this project, go to rockvillemd.gov and search water treatment plant.
The Duval project in downtown Rockville is beginning to take shape with construction of Phase 1 currently underway. Rockville 11's Katie Giardi has an update.
Rockville 11's Katie Giardi here in Town Center, where construction on a new development is ongoing. We got an update on the project and found out what residents should expect in the coming months. The project will bring new retail, residences, parking, and a hotel to Rockville. We spoke with city project managers to find out how the building process is coming along.
The owners of that property, Duval Rockville LLC, they are already in the first phase of development, which is this one property here at 196 East Montgomery Avenue. And there's a second phase. It's been approved. It has been approved for this one at 198 East Montgomery Avenue.
As soon as this project's over, they will start the new building. So they're probably going to start preparing for that. Not anytime soon, but within the next year or so. But other than that, not much to expect except, again, continue to see it grow and get taller.
Developers recently proposed to increase the number of residences and decrease the amount of parking in the second building, but the new proposal gives the city more to consider.
They are asking that the mayor and council allow the increase, because with that increase, these units take the approved project above the current school capacity limits. So it doesn't comply with this increase to the current school capacity.
They will need a recommendation from the Planning Commission and final approval by the mayor and council before they can move forward with the proposal. Once the proposal reaches the mayor and council and before their final decision, the public will be able to comment on the proposal at a mayor and council public hearing.
If anybody would like more information about the project, they can certainly contact me at rsnody@rockvillemd.gov. I have a listserv that I continue to push information out whenever possible. Any emergency updates, any last-minute changes, I definitely push that out there.
For Rockville 11, I'm Katie Giardi.
Hello, Rockville. I'm Morgan Lash, here to bring you all the news you can use for the month of February. Rockville residents are scheduled to get another look at the fiscal year 2015 budget later this month. The mayor and council plan to discuss budget priorities on February 10th. City Manager Barb Matthews is expected to formally introduce her proposed budget on March 17th, and the mayor and council will hold further public hearings and work sessions later into the year. For more information on the current and future budget proposals, visit rockvillemd.gov/budget or call the Finance Department at 240-314-8400. This February, there are many opportunities for Rockville to get into the arts. The Glenview Mansion Art Gallery will host a free exhibit throughout the month featuring wax and wood art, as well as experimental photography. Also throughout the month, be sure to stop by the F. Scott Fitzgerald Theater for a concert or show. For more information on theater performances, visit rockvillemd.gov/theater, and to learn more about the art exhibit, visit rockvillemd.gov/arts. Rockville's Glenview Mansion Art Gallery is looking for student artwork to display in the gallery this spring. Students between kindergarten and 12th grade can drop off pieces on February 23rd to be displayed in the gallery during the month of March. For more information, contact Julie Farrell at 240-314-8682 or visit rockvillemd.gov/arts. Need the perfect space for your next party or business meeting? Rockville Recreation and Parks operate a number of great facilities and parks that are available to rent, including the Glenview Mansion. For more information and rental rates, visit rockvillemd.gov and search Rent Our Facilities. This year, celebrate Valentine's Day right here in Rockville. The city offers a variety of events for residents of all ages this month. On February 5th, seniors can stop by the Senior Center for the February party at 1:30. On the 7th, from 7 to 9, the Twinbrook Recreation Center will host the annual Heart-to-Heart Valentine's Dance for the whole family. Bring your toddler to Thomas Farm Community Center for a special Tiny Tots Valentine's event on February 11th from 10 to noon. On Valentine's Day, February 14th, the Lincoln Park Community Center will host the XOXO After School Valentine's Dance from 5:30 to 7:30. And the Thomas Farm Community Center will host a late night teen party from 7 to 10:30. For more information on any of these events, call 240-314-8620.
In honor of African American History Month, we'd now like to use this part of our show to share how you can celebrate this February and throughout the year in the city. Rockville 11's Aaron Dawkins reports.
I'm Aaron Dawkins for Rockville 11. February is Black History Month, and we're going to take a walk on the city's African American walking tour with Interim Executive Director of Peerless Rockville, Eileen McGuckie.
A great introduction to the history of African Americans in Rockville is this walking tour that was created by the Historic District Commission about 10 years ago, and it takes you on a walk from about 15 sites around the center of Rockville. Each one talks about people, notable places, places that are still here, sites that are still here, sites that have disappeared, but it gives you all the themes of African American history in Rockville. This is one of the stops on the tour, one of my favorites. It is Jerusalem Methodist Church, and it got started as a Methodist church for Black and white Methodists in the 1830s. And by the time of the Civil War, blacks and whites were worshiping here together. For the most part, Black Methodists were either upstairs in the loft or they were outside listening in. They were never part of the big sanctuary part of the congregation. They were sort of second-class Methodists. Emancipation in Maryland was November 1st, 1864, and after that, not only did slaves in Maryland become free, but also the whole society had to reorient itself for the way it had been for so many years. And this became a black church. I call it the mother of all black churches in Rockville, because out of this church came the other Methodist churches and other denominations from Rockville. This is not only a religious site, but it's also where most of the civil rights movement in Montgomery County generated from this church right here, and the energy within this church and the passion that people had for improving their lives.
Another stop on the walking tour is the old Montgomery County Courthouse.
In the mid-1930s, William B. Gibbs Jr. came to Rockville to be the teaching principal at Rockville Colored Elementary School. Right about that time, the NAACP, out of the Baltimore office, was looking for a plaintiff in a case against a jurisdiction in Maryland that would show the inequality of pay for black teachers and white teachers having the same education and the same experience in the system. And Mr. Gibbs volunteered to be a plaintiff in the suit. So in 1936, attorneys for the NAACP came to Rockville, negotiated with him, and the NAACP attorney was a young man who had just graduated from Howard University Law School named Thurgood Marshall. And so this was one of his first cases, and he and Mr. Gibbs filed a suit in 1936 against the Montgomery County Board of Education for equal pay for black teachers. It wasn't taken well by the school board. They negotiated a little bit and then refused to do it, and so the Thurgood Marshall filed a petition in court for the inequality. And at that point, the school board decided to negotiate, and eventually it was negotiated, so that starting in 1937, black teachers would get half the difference in pay, and by 1938, they would have the entire amount. And that was good for teachers in Montgomery County. It was not so good for Mr. Gibbs, who the Board of Education found some sort of technicality to fire him, and he never taught in Maryland schools again.
Something you won't see on the walking tour are the African American communities that were a part of Rockville since the beginning.
I'm Rockville 11's Katie Giardi here at Lincoln Park. Although it's not a stop on the city's African American Heritage Walking Tour, it is a neighborhood rich in history and culture. We spoke with neighborhood historian Sharon Duffin to find out why.
William Welsh purchased approximately 15 acres from two separate owners and subdivided it to make Lincoln Park. It was the land he purchased was adjacent to property already owned by blacks, so it was already a black area, although not a subdivision.
Many relatives moved into the area, creating a sense of community.
So the entire community helped each other because they were related and because it was so small and close-knit.
Over the years, the community grew much larger and was annexed into the city. Today, many changes have been made to the neighborhood.
Last 30, 40 years, I would say, we've experienced quite a change. Things have improved as far as segregation, but that means the community has changed, and now we are quite ethnically diverse.
The city has also recently learned of a large African American community that was located on Great Falls Road.
The property at 628 was threatened with demolition, and we looked into its history. We learned that the community on Falls Road was not just 1 acre, but as many as 10, and it was a settlement for free blacks that dated back to 1832.
Duffin says it is important to continue learning about the new discovery and the other communities that have shaped Rockville as a whole.
It's good to discover this history and pass it on to the kids, and not have a Black History Month, but to understand that our presence has been for a very long time, and that we are part of the fabric of the community.
If you're interested in taking the free self-guided walking tour, brochures with a map are available at City Hall, 111 Maryland Avenue. All sites on the tour are within walking distance of the Rockville Metro Station. If you want to learn more about other historic sites throughout the city, go online to rockvillemd.gov/historic or visit peerlessrockville.org. Well, that's all the time we have for this month's Rock 11 Now. I'm your host, Jennifer Ligsay. Remember to follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And on behalf of the whole Rock 11 team, thanks for watching.